Welcome in. It is Brad with Color SportsCast. It is week 10. We are going to be 2/3 through the college football season after this weekend, and college football rankings come out this coming week. Welcome to the Big Fuss.
Can I please have your attention?
There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
Welcome in, guys. It's Brad with College SportsCast. We are here to do week 10 episode of the Big Fuss Show. I've got John Hammonds on here with me tonight. What's up, Hammonds? You're muted.
I said, what's up, man?
There he is.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start off with our Facebook. Always start off with this. If you're on Facebook with us, man, we greatly appreciate you. We are about to cross 6,300. We have been growing tremendously the last little bit, doing some media and coverage of the college football season and everything. If you are here and would like to support us, you can do that by sending us stars, or right now, there is a flash sale going on. The first 5 people that sign up get our subscribers page for half price. That is 49 cents. It's normally 99 cents a month. Your first month would just be 49 cents. And you get a really cool chat room. We post links for all of our shows and events, a little bit of insider info in there, well, especially some Kentucky stuff. I get some other stuff. I got some Lane Kiffin stuff and a few other things that I get from time to time. But again, this is only right now until November 23rd, or up to the first 5 people, 49 cents a month for subscribers on Facebook. If you are with us on YouTube, we appreciate you as well, trying to continue to grow on YouTube. Want to put up that you can like and subscribe on YouTube as well. And comment. You can like, share, do a lot of things for us on YouTube as well. We're trying to grow there. So on both platforms, we appreciate you. You can also catch us on the Real Fresh channel. We are on there live as we are doing shows as well on the YouTube channel. So like and subscribe to their page as well. So I want to start off with that. All right. And then the next thing I want to get to, while we are doing our show tonight, at the top left-hand corner of the screen, talking about the Real Fresh channel, the top left-hand corner of the screen is a QR code. You can scan that QR code. It will take you to the Bet US, Bet Us link with the Real Fresh channel and College SportsCast. We are teaming up together on this one, and you can get up to 3 deposit matches for up to 125% of whatever you deposit. So if you deposit $100, they will match it with 125. So it's a great deal, gives you a little bit of free money. Go to that link. That is actually the link, or you can scan the QR code up at the top left-hand corner of the screen, and it will take you to that, and you can sign up for your deposit matches. Want to give a shout out to Howie Fresh, the Real Fresh channel, and we appreciate him. So, and Big Luke. Right, John?
Yeah.
Big Luke, you like Big Luke, don't you?
Yeah, Big Luke's good, yeah.
They were just on with us. They do their weekly Tuesday night shows with us on College SportsCast on Facebook, and you can catch them on Facebook. They have a betting show for the NFL games like we do on Friday nights, and they do a pick 'em. And they're really good, man. They're like 75% get right. They get everything right. So check them out. It's called Fresh Takes. It is on College SportsCast Facebook page or their YouTube channel. What's up, Michael? Appreciate you being here. Just want to give a shout out off the top of the show here. All right, it's the Big Fuss Show, so we're going to keep that QR code up at the top of the screen. John, we are going to talk about the new weekly AP poll. That's how we usually start out the Big Fuss Show. So I'm going to let you run through the Week 10 poll of the AP poll in college football.
All right. 1 was Ohio State. 2 was Indiana. 3 is A&M, Texas. 4 is Alabama. 5 is Georgia. 6 is Oregon. 7 is Ole Miss. 8 is Georgia Tech. 9 is Vanderbilt. 10 is Miami. 11 is BYU. 12 was Notre Dame. 13 is Texas Tech. 14 is Tennessee. 15 is Virginia. 16 is Louisville. 17 is Cincinnati. 18 is Oklahoma. 19 is Missouri. 20th was Texas. 21 was Michigan. 22, Houston jumped in the polls. 23 was USC. 24 was Utah. And 25 was Memphis.
All right. Was there any big surprises for you? Is anybody slide in somewhere that you didn't think they should be?
Not really. I mean, you look at the SEC, Texas Tech moved up, or Texas A&M moved up. I'm going to tell you who I feel like really controls their fate is Vanderbilt. They play Texas this weekend. They still got road games against Texas and Tennessee. Then they got, I think, Kentucky at the end of the year. If they can somehow split that Tennessee-Texas road game, I really believe Vanderbilt's going to be a candidate for the college football playoff. Now, the other one is probably Alabama's going to be there. They lost to a really bad Florida State team, and that's pretty much a rearview mirror type thing now. I don't know how in the world they lost that game, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, Alabama's put themselves in there.
It was week one. Sometimes you got to give a team a pass in week one. They have been playing pretty well until last week. It kind of scared me a little bit, I thought, for Alabama.
Yeah, well, and then you got the regular Indiana. They blew out UCLA. Georgia Tech and BYU's undefeated. They needed a second half comeback to beat Iowa State, BYU. South Florida lost its momentum on the college football group of 5 because the loss to Memphis, I think. Memphis outscored them 17-0 in the fourth quarter to win that game. They missed a field goal.
That's a big win for Memphis.
They missed a field goal to lose that game. They actually could have tied it and sent it to overtime. Listen, like I said, if Vanderbilt can go on the road and beat Texas and win a headline game, I really think they will move one step closer, Brad, to a college football playoff.
We'll see. We'll talk a little bit more about the college football playoff as the show goes on. But
that's really hard to believe too at Vanderbilt.
Well, I mean, it is, but there's other schools that's doing it. Indiana was just as bad as Vanderbilt's been in the Big Ten. They've only averaged 4 wins a season for 30-plus years, averaged. I mean, they've been very bad for many, many years. Georgia Tech is up in there. Cincinnati's having a good year. BYU has been something special the last 2 years. Like, there's quite a few teams that are playing way above what they normally have been, to be honest. So it's not just Vandy. Vandy is doing it. I think they're doing it in a time they got kind of lucky, I believe, in a time frame where the NIL was not controlled at all, to be honest with you. And now there's some restrictions and regulations with the whole revenue share and everything that they got going on.
I agree with Jared. You know, he said Nashville is a big city, lots of money. NIL has made a huge difference for small schools that happens to be in big cities.
I mean, that may be the case. I don't think they're going to sustain this after Diego Pavia is gone, to be honest with you. I just don't think that's going to be the case, but I could be wrong. I may eat my words here. I'm not real sure. I could be wrong on that, but we'll see. The one big thing that happened on Sunday after this weekend was that LSU fires Brian Kelly on Sunday. And I mean, he didn't even make it through his fourth year. He had a 10-year, $100 million contract when they signed him 3.5 years ago. And he was 34-14 as the head coach there. But that's way worse than his predecessors. So what did you think about LSU pulling the plug on Brian Kelly?
I mean, it's a football school, Brad. You know, I felt like he got off to a really good start. They had a 4-win improvement in 22. They went to the SEC championship game. Then the next year, I think they won 10 games. Jaden Daniels was the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
After that, it got kind of muddled. They went 9-4 last year. They didn't finish the season in the top 25. There was a lot of expectations on Garrett Nussmeier. They had a lot of key players returning last year. They had a 4-0 start. They beat a top-ranked Clemson team. Once they got into SEC play, though, the losses started piling up. Let's be honest. They lost to Ole Miss. They get whipped at home against Texas A&M. They lost to Vanderbilt on the road. Listen, the game against A&M was just embarrassing. Let's be honest. There was a stretch.
Orgeron didn't even make it 2 years past his winning the title.
I'm going to tell you something, a key stat that nobody's even talking about. There was a point in this game where A&M outscored LSU 35-7.
All right. I mean, they got demolished, to be honest with you. They doubled them up in Baton Rouge, Death Valley on a Saturday night. That was the one thing that Brian Kelly still had. He was like 20-1 or something in night games. And that was the one thing he still had. And then he got demolished by Texas A&M and Elko, Marcel Reed and company on Saturday night. Like I said, in Death Valley. But here's where I want to go with this after this. Is like, here's my thing, John. LSU now kind of has a reputation of firing coaches that have had some success there. Like we just said, they've done the same thing with Ed Orgeron. Now they're doing it to Brian Kelly. They're not afraid to pay high buyouts and all the things that they're doing. Do you think that's going to play a role in them finding another coach? Are they kind of messing in their own bed?
I mean, you know, it wasn't, 2 years removed where LSU won a national championship with Joe Burrow and Ed Orgeron got the Hank. They sent him packing.
2 years. It was a year and a half.
A year and a half, yeah. It's a tough situation. And, you know, I know LSU fans are probably going to say, well, we want a Dan Lanning. We want a John Sumrall. We all want, but that doesn't mean when you've kind of got a reputation now of, you know, letting go of good coaches and
starting over again. I mean, this isn't something new. LSU's done this a few times. If you're a head coach somewhere, if you are a Dan Lanning, if you are a Lane Kiffin, and seeing what we have seen over the last 6-8 years, why would you go to Baton Rouge? Why would you go to LSU? Why wouldn't you stay at a school that appreciates you?
Well,
and is paying you.
Let's be honest, Brad. He hadn't made it Notre Dame. And you know, he walked right out and went into felt like a better situation, but then it just kind of unbuckled for him. You know, then you have all the Lane Kiffin talks that he might go to LSU, which I don't think he will. You know, his name's been thrown around with Florida and all these others, Penn State, whatnot. But, you know, LSU is a football school, and I get where they're coming from.
Yeah, but is LSU Alabama? I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. I think LSU is in that next tier. But where the problem gets is you cannot continue to recycle coaches over and over at LSU and expect to get anything done. The recycling of coaches is what's I feel like is hurting them more than anything.
Why would Dan Lanning leave Oregon, a school where he's got all the money and all the stuff that he wants out there? He can win a shit ton of games, get to the college football playoff, have a great career, be loved. Why would he go somewhere that 3 years later, if you lose a couple of games, they're going to fire you?
That's a good question, Brad. A really good question.
I mean, you've got this reputation now.
You do. You know, Kirby Smart said something really smart, no pun intended, today. He said that when he coached at LSU, he said he had somebody come up to him and said, "This is not your office. You're just borrowing it for a while." He said, and I realized in coaching that sometimes things happen and things are going to go south, and sometimes things just don't work out. And
Jared, I don't agree with that. I think because those coaches won national titles and that they just turned around and basically SHIT'd on them, I think that actually is a severe negative, I think, on LSU, in my opinion.
And Smart brought up a good point. You know, like I said, he was talking about the harsh reality of LSU trying to firing Brian Kelly. He said, you know, somebody once told me that office you're in, that's not your office. You're borrowing it. I knew then if you didn't win, you wouldn't be there very long. And that's a great comment for coaches now. You're just there borrowing an office. You're just – if you don't win, if the coaching don't set up, and, you know, look at LSU, Brad. They went 34-14 under Brian Kelly. If that happened at Kentucky, there ain't no way he gets fired.
I mean, if that happens almost anywhere, really, I mean, almost, there's not 10 schools in the entire country that wouldn't be happy with that. If that.
No. No, not at all.
I mean, if that. And here's my thing with this, okay? We're not in the same time. We're not in the time frame of the 80s or the 90s or the early 2000s. We're in a completely different era in college football. And these coaches are getting no time to build the program like they used to. They're getting no time. I mean, Kalen DeBoer, okay, after the Florida State game, there was talk that he might get fired. 1 season and 1 game in. Okay? So there is no, you can't reassure, like, Why would you leave a great situation and go somewhere that is proven? You lose 2 out of 3. You lose 2 out of 3 games, we're going to fire your butt. I mean, I think we're just in a completely different time and era. And I think that they are building a reputation that they don't want. That's what I think.
Yep.
For LSU, just to be honest with you. All right. I do have a couple of other topics here on the coaching stuff, but the next one I want to get to is the SEC commissioner today, or in the last day or two, sent a letter to the NCAA asking them to rescind the new betting rule that was supposed to take place November 1st. And right before we come on, John, it was actually announced that the NCAA is delaying that till at least November 22nd. And I kind of have a feeling here that the SEC commissioner, Greg Sankey, probably had something to do with that.
Yeah, Pat Narduzzi, the Pitt coach, brought up a good point about this, Brad. He went full flamed earth on it, full scorched earth. He was talking about it's a habit. It's no different than smoking, drinking, doing drugs. I don't think anyone here encourages you to go out drinking, getting smashed on a Friday or Saturday night at a ball game. He was talking about how he wasn't a gambler. I don't know what kind of precedent this sets, but it's not a good look for college football as a whole, in my opinion. It sets up a precedent with what's already going on with NIL, what's already going on with the portal, and now you're throwing gambling in the middle of it. I don't like it, Brad, to be honest with you. You can gamble.
No, so this new rule was supposed to allow college kids to bet on pro sports and allow them to do it. That's what this new rule was. It was supposed to take place November 1st, which is just a few days away. And Greg Sankey just a couple of days ago sent a letter asking them to rescind this. Now, they didn't rescind the rule, but they have delayed it. It come out like 10 minutes before we come on that they have delayed the rule.
Well, that's a good thing, I think. I'm not a huge fan of it, Brad. I never was. Now, if you want to bet on a horse race, if you want to bet, especially like on a, boxing match or something, that's one thing, I think. But I feel like I'm like Pat. I feel like you're teaching kids a really bad habit when you do this.
Well, here's my thing. You got all this betting stuff going on with the NBA, and you got all these players and all this stuff that's going on, these scandals that's going on. Why right now, during this time when all of these scandals are going on? There was also a scandal in college basketball with players betting college basketball right before the season started this year. And I mean, why would you do this right now when all of this is going on?
It don't make a lot of sense.
The timing of it seems a little fishy to me, to be honest.
The thing is, you had the whole thing with Terry Rozier. You had, with Chauncey Billups with the NBA thing. I mean, you don't want to let this trickle down into college basketball because it could be a bad decision, I think.
All right. I do have a few topics that we're going to get to on our pick six. So I've got a few things here that I want to get to. We were talking about college football playoff, John. So I'm going to ask you tonight. We are a few days, a week away, actually, I think, from the first college football playoff ranking to come out. It comes out at the first Tuesday, I believe, of November. So we are a week away from that. I want to ask you, who are your locks? Who are your 6 locks that you think are going to make the college football playoff at the end of the year?
Indiana is one. Ohio State's the other. Texas A&M. Probably Georgia. That's granted they don't lose another game. They got some semi-tough games. They got Texas coming up and a few others. Alabama would be one, and I think you got to go A&M, and then I think you got to go with Oregon. I think Oregon is sitting right there. I think they're in the mix. And on the outside, my top 6 would probably be Ole Miss and Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I mean, right now I agree with you on those, but as far as locks, you got to go Ohio State, Indiana. Right now, it still looks like A&M, has that locked in as long as they don't fall apart here at the end of the season. They are still undefeated. I would say Alabama is in pretty good shape right now, so I would put them at 4. And if I was going to say a lock that I think will get in, I would probably say the same two you did, Georgia and Oregon. I do like the position that Georgia Tech is in.
I'm gonna tell you something, Brad, that I feel like is going to be possible. You got Georgia sitting right there. You got Alabama sitting there, right? Well, Texas A&M has a lot to say about what's going to happen because they're still undefeated.
Yep.
And A&M's got a shot to either knock Alabama or Georgia out of the SEC championship. If that happens, then one of those 3 is getting left out, in my opinion, unless they lose another game.
Well, if they don't lose another game, if none of them lose another
game, that's what I'm saying. If
they're
none of them
going
lose
to
another game, they're probably going to get in.
Yeah.
Georgia still has a home game against Texas. I think they have a heart. Well, let's be honest. They play Georgia Tech in the rivalry game. That's going to be a big game this year. So
they do.
There's still some chances there for Georgia to kind of fall apart towards the end. But the way Georgia is playing, I think they're kind of, Kirby Smart and his team's figuring it out. I think they're going to be right there when it's all said and done.
I mean, I agree with you. I've got a couple of topics here that is college basketball. So we've had about a week now of some really, really interesting, cool exhibition games in college basketball this time with a new rule change and a lot of these good teams playing each other. I just want to know, from your perspective, who do you think are the best top 6 teams that you have seen so far through the exhibition season? I'm not talking about your top program. I mean, I'm talking about through this exhibition season, who's played the most, the best. Can't talk.
I like Florida. I think Florida's up there. Kentucky is up there. I'm going to go. I know people's not going to like this, but Arkansas. I think Arkansas is playing as good as anybody. The other one is probably Kansas. Darren Peterson is a fantastic freshman. I mean, he put it on Louisville the other night. He's really, really good.
Can you believe
I'm going to tell you
6th in the Big 12?
That's really hard to believe, Brad. That's hard to believe.
6th in the Big 12 by the media. That's crazy.
That's hard to believe. Yeah, it's a little hard for me to understand because, I mean, I know where they're getting that from last year, but, you know, Kansas always, I feel like, reloads their team. You know, they got a really good team coming in this year. Darren Peterson might be one of the best freshmen.
Do you think
like
was part of that Bill's self-sickness and his health, maybe? Thinking
could be
maybe
some
that,
of it. And then you got the team like Houston. Houston's going to be in there. UConn, I thought looked good. St. John's, I was off and on. I felt like it's too early to really talk about basketball right now. Up until next week, but
this
I feel like
exhibition
it's just still exhibition.
But this exhibition season is something we've never seen before. It's kind of interesting. I'm actually enjoying it, to be honest with you.
It is.
It's something
I'm
new.
going to give you another team. I'll give you another team. BYU, AJ DeBonsa. That kid is a legit freak of nature. He's tough. You know, they got Richie Saunders back. That's a really big plus for them.
You got Rob Wright.
Rob Wright from Baylor. I'm going to give you a team. I'm going to give you a team that I was really impressed on. I don't think they're in the top 20, top 15, but it's North Carolina. I really love the play of Caleb Wilson. I think North Carolina's going to be better than people think.
I mean, listen, I watched Duke Tennessee the other night in this exhibition game, and Duke kind of struggled early, but man, Carlos Boozer's son, Cameron, man, 24 points, 24 rebounds. Like, I mean, impressive. The kid was impressive. Made me think, okay, who's better? Is it Cameron or is it Cooper Flagg?
I still think Cooper Flagg is probably your – you know, I'm not going to
I'm just saying, I watched it, and I was like, man, is he better than Cooper Flagg?
I don't think he's better than Cooper Flagg yet. Now, could he be? Yes. But at this point, you got to think, Brad, Cooper Flagg he was the number one pick to the Mavs. Like, there's a complete.
I get it. I know. I'm just saying. That's all. It was worth a question, I thought, to be honest with you.
It was. I agree.
All right. The next one, going off of some of these that we are just talking about with BYU and Duke, I want to ask you, who do you think the top 6 freshmen in college basketball will be this season? Because I asked this because, man, this freshman class looks like they're going to have some stellar players and maybe play a long time in the NBA so far, right now.
I'm going to give you a few. AJ DeBonsa from BYU is one. Darren Peterson from Kansas is another one. I like the kid from Tennessee, Nate Ament. He's going to be really, really good for them. Arizona's got 2 good freshmen, Koa Pete and Braden Burries. I think they're going to be really good for them. Trying to think. North Carolina, I think Caleb Wilson is going to be really good for them. I'll even go as far as say Kentucky, Jasper Johnson. Jasper Johnson's going to be really, really good. You should go down the list. There's a lot of freshmen. There's a lot of upperclassmen.
What about the 2 freshmen at Arkansas? They're playing really well in exhibition.
Cuff and Malik Thomas. I think those 2 are probably going to be really, really good by the year's over. So there's a lot of freshmen out there. There's a lot of upperclassmen. But if I had to go on upperclassmen, which we're not talking about that, I would go with Kentucky, Purdue, Florida, your normals, UConn, Texas Tech. You know, they bring back JT Toppin, which he's going to be a big threat for them. Arkansas got in the portal and done really good, I thought. But I think Arkansas is going to be led by these freshmen. These freshmen are pretty good, Brad.
They are. They're really good.
Is really good. Malik Thomas is really good. So a fun year of college basketball is in store for a lot of fans this year.
All right, John, I'm going to switch this up. And that was kind of a pick 6 segment that we do here on the Big Fuss Show. I'm going to call this one our no-fly zone segment. I've got a couple of questions here, and this is what we usually do for our no-fly zone, but this is going to be just a little bit different. The first one here, John, is this. So far, before Halloween, buyouts for fired college football coaches are at $169 million for these schools. My question to you is this: does college football have a financial crisis just waiting to happen? Do you think this is sustainable? I think, 169 million so far.
I'll be honest with you. I go back to what Nick Saban said. He talked about this. He said he blamed the sport for this. NIL, portal, the people's paying money to pay some of these players. When they get you look at the fans, they get frustrated and disappointed. They get their frustration put out on the athletic directors and they fire people. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the sport of college football, Brad. Like Saban said, they need to.
Yeah. My question is what's happening right now going to cause major problems down the road? Because I don't know that if it's $300 million for these schools this year in buyouts, and it could be with some of these coaches. I mean, is that sustainable? I mean, how do these schools pay that? Along with paying players, along with revenue share, along with there's so many expenses these schools have now. I'm going to
give you an example. We brought this up on our Kentucky show last night. Okay, Stoops' buyout's what, $37 million?
Let's call it 38 because it's 37.7 or something like that.
Something of that nature. Say you fire Stoops, okay? And you do the buyout. That's not counting just Stoops. That's counting
the assistants have buyouts too, by the way.
The defensive coordinator, the special teams coach, the offensive line coach. Then
you got to turn around and you got to hire a whole new staff.
And then you got to hire a new staff. Well, where is all that money going to be funneled to get a whole new staff? And how you going to have enough money to do NIL and have the revenue sharing when you've already paid a top tier coach? Like, how is that going to? I feel like Kentucky is in trouble for football.
I've been saying it for a while. I think Kentucky is definitely in trouble.
And I'm not just talking about Stoops. I'm talking about for the future. Like, there's some issues with the NIL sharing. 22 million of it got sent to basketball. And, somebody put out a stat the other day.
And all these fans are doing all this fussing and moaning and groaning, and football got 4 million, and people are wondering why you can't win ball games. Well, duh.
Well, and then you look over on the other side, the basketball team gets what, 22 million?
22 million. That's what I mean.
No wonder football is in the dumpster right now. I mean, to be honest.
But I'm saying this, John, in reality, man, I don't see how these schools can continue to pay up to LSU is probably going to have to come up with close to $100 million to change their staff.
I'm going to tell you who I feel sorry for. And I know we're not going to feel sorry for him at the end of the day because he's going to get paid. But I kind of feel sorry for James Franklin, the way he was done. I felt like it was unfair this early in the year.
I mean, this early in the year, yes, but he was in year 13. It's not like he was in year 3.
He was, but I feel like he kind of got a bad rap towards the end.
I mean, in year 13, you're at a power school and you're not getting them where they want to go. Okay. I mean,
but to be fair, I'm not a big Penn State guy. I mean, I've hated them ever since the 70s. But I kind of feel bad, for him. Well, not since the 70s, probably since the 90s when they had Kajana Carter and all them teams. They always seemed to win, it seemed like. And, I was just not a fan of Penn State. I don't know. I guess it was just the hatred for them growing up. I did not care much for them. So, but to be fair, I feel bad for the coach this early in the year, especially, I know they lost to UCLA. I know that's a tough loss, but I felt like it could have let him ride it out because Brad, since he lost or since he left, Penn State's look, I don't know. I feel like they could have played better under Franklin to finish the year. They look completely lost right now as a football team.
I mean, that's fair. My thing here, fly, no fly. I think this is a fly. I think there is some trouble. I think there is some trouble down the road for a lot of these programs with the kind of money that they are just slinging around like it's nothing.
I'm with you, Jared. He said I'd take Franklin in a heartbeat, Kentucky. Brad even told me he would a while back. He said I'd take him right now.
I'd take Brian Kelly today. Heck, if I was Mitch Barnhart, I'd be on the phone trying to make a trade right now. I mean, it's probably over, but I'd be offered whatever I could. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh, Brad.
All right.
Let's move on.
while we're talking football, I do want to ask you your Heisman Trophy top candidates real quick.
All right. I'll go. Fernando Mendoza, Indiana. I think he's playing at elite level. Ty Simpson. I love Ty. I think Ty has figured it out since the Florida State loss. 3. See, from there, it's kind of a crapshoot after you get past those. That's a tough one, Brad. The last 2 possibly.
I mean, does Diego Pavia actually have a chance?
Not really, but I like his confidence. I like how he's playing. He's beat LSU. He's beat a good Missouri team. If he was to beat Texas, I think you gotta kind of give him a little bit of love, man. That's the one I was thinking about, Jared. Damon Williams from Washington. I think he's really, really good. There's quite a bit of love going for him in the media polls, but he's not on a great team. I feel like you're going to see a Heisman Trophy winner come from a playoff team, if we're all being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it more than likely will be. I mean, LSU did it with Jaden Daniels a couple of years ago.
Would you put – I don't know. Would you put Julian Sand there?
I think Julian Sand has got a shot. I think he's got an outside shot. I don't think he'll win it, but is he going to be in the top 5 or 6? I think he could be very, very likely.
I'm going to give you a name that nobody absolutely talks about, Brad, and it's a shame. And he is busting his tail every single Saturday. He's putting his team in position to win, and that's Haynes King from Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Haynes King is doing really well too.
life on the line every weekend. It's their historical start. He's producing a lot of rushing numbers, passing numbers. He does not get a lot of credit that he deserves. And I feel like that, if they end up going undefeated and going to the college football playoff, I feel like that Haynes King deserves a little bit of love.
Yeah, I do too, 100%. All right, I've got a couple of more questions. These are SEC related for our no-fly zone. This one, John, will the SEC have 8 or more college football changes this year by the time December gets here for this college football season? Do you think we will see 8 or more, which is half or more of the SEC changing coaches?
2 of those face off this weekend.
And there's already 3. There's already 3. You got Arkansas, you got Florida, and you got LSU. There's already 3. Are you fly or no fly? Because part of this is gonna determine whether or not Drink takes a job somewhere else. Whether or not I'm talking about anything. This could be any changes for any reason. I'm not talking about being fired. This could be Lane Kiffin taking a job somewhere. Will there be 8 or more college football changes in the SEC this year?
No.
You think it's no?
I think it's going to be about 6.
Because I actually think it's yes.
I think it's going to be 6 to minimum. You look at you play Auburn this weekend, Kentucky. Those were 2 coaches that are kind of on the outs with Hugh Freeze and Mark Stoops. You got Lane Kiffin possibly going to Florida. He's going to LSU. He needs a hat table to decide where he's going to go. Oh, mercy.
If that tweet was real today from Lane Kiffin, I mean, that's boss right there, man.
Yeah.
If he really added the Florida Gators and said, if you give me $1 billion, I'll come coach your shithole.
I think it was a troll account. I think it was a troll, but anyways.
It may have been. I don't know. But if that was real, I was driving. I was back. I don't know if it was or not, but it was funny.
I feel like Ole Miss will be there. Missouri, maybe. Arkansas, Auburn. I think Florida's there. And I really think Kentucky will be there. I don't know what Mitch Barnhart's going to do, but I feel like, we've heard this week that Matt Jones said that they're going to wait it out for the Auburn game and possibly the Florida game. I wouldn't be shocked, Brad, if Mark Stoops, if combos didn't start up, if they lose to Auburn Saturday. That's just me.
I mean, listen, I don't even know why that's a conversation, like why we're even talking about that, because combos have probably already started.
Yeah,
depending on what convos you're talking about. But
I'm more talking like firing. Like there's probably conversations that, between donors and whatnot that they're kind of discussing things.
Yeah, Jared, I was going to say, if you add LSU, that's 7. And there could be some others.
But I feel like there's really, I don't know, Brad, that's a toughie subject for me because I feel like what does playing Auburn and Florida really going to do for the pro? Like, I get it. I know that they're winnable games, but what's that going to really entail is my question. If you lose both of them, it still probably would be the same exact matter you would have before you even do that. Like, I don't know. I'm on the fence on a lot of things with that.
So you say no. All right, I'm going to run through the teams, okay? So right now you've got Arkansas, Florida, and LSU that's already changing coaches. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got Kentucky and Auburn that play each other. That's 5. Okay. That could possibly fire their coaches. Okay. So that's 5. You've also got South Carolina, where his seat's warming up. You've also got Brent Venables, where his seat is starting to warm up.
I think he's safe. I think he's safe.
Hang on. If you don't believe me, go look at their schedule. Okay. I'm just saying, if you don't believe me, if they struggle down the stretch, his seat's warming up. Okay. That would be 9. You got Sark saying that he wants an NFL job.
Now that come out, they said that wasn't true.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's true. I don't know. I'm not saying any of this is true. But I'm saying the possibilities are there. You've also got Missouri with Drink and Kiffin at Ole Miss that could leave. That could be up to 10 jobs in the SEC.
I just don't see it, Brad. I just don't see it.
I just had to throw it in here because I think there is a close reality to 8 new jobs. It could be 7, but I think there is a very close reality to 8 or 9 new jobs.
I don't see it. I just don't. I mean, I could probably see Kiffin leaving, but I can't see Drink leaving what he's got going at Missouri. Kiffin, I feel like he'll roll with the money. Maybe Ole Miss kind of backs him into a wall, makes him decide on money with them. But this is a no-fly for me, bro. I just don't see it. I don't see 8 or more, to be honest.
All right. I think it's a very real possibility. I really do. I'm just being honest. All right. Last one on the no-fly zones. I've got one here because I don't know if you guys paid attention, but this morning I put a stat up. Cutter Boley versus ranked teams. And he's played 4 ranked opponents versus ranked teams. Has the 4th highest QB rating in the SEC this year amongst all teams and all SEC quarterbacks. My question, John, is Cutter Boley playing like a top 5 SEC QB?
Hold on a minute.
This is very true, Jared, because they definitely would go after Heupel.
Hold on a minute, Brad.
What's going on?
Somebody's at our door. Hold on just a minute.
All right, we are being interrupted by somebody at John's door. All right, so over the last, this is versus ranked opponents. He has the 4th highest QB rating in the SEC this season amongst all of them. The only one's better, Gunnar Stockton was number 1. Trying to think. He was higher than Joey Aguilar. He was higher than Marcel Reed. He was higher than, like, for real, like, Cutter has been playing really well. And in my opinion, Kentucky has a piece to build on if they use him to keep him there. He is a Lexington kid. And if I was in charge, I would do whatever Cutter Boley says is going to keep me there. That's what I would do. I don't care what the fans are saying. I don't care what's going on. I would do whatever Cutter Boley. He's a Lexington kid. He's drawing the fans. He's going to draw crowds. in my opinion, I would do whatever Cutter Boley and his family says is going to keep him there. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I would do the same thing, Brad. I just, I would get the family together if possible and figure out where he wants to go with this, whether that's keep an offensive coordinator, Stoops, whatever, and I just go from there. I mean, I would make my priority focus around Cutter Boley.
Do you think he's playing like a top 5 SEC quarterback this year?
I think he's playing a lot better than he did early in the year. He had some mistakes early against, I think, Ole Miss, even Eastern Michigan, but he's kind of figured it out.
I mean, people are going to say, well, what about the pick 6 against Tennessee? But Lord have mercy, go watch the play. That dude just made a hell of a defensive play.
He did. He really did.
I mean, jumping up, tipping it to himself, running up under. I mean, he made a hell of a defensive play. I don't really think that is solely on Cutter Boley. I mean, yes, he threw the ball, but man, that dude made a hell of a play.
He sure did.
Jimbo, listen, I'm not against anybody. I want somebody that'll keep Cutter Boley in Lexington. I don't care if that's as an offensive coordinator. I don't care if it's as the head coach. I don't care what it is. I want somebody that will help keep Cutter Boley in Lexington. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's all that's important, Bray.
That's exactly what I want, to be honest with you. I don't care about these people that just want Stoops gone and all this. I could care less. I want we finally are seeing the light of a good quarterback. And he's a redshirt freshman. He's only had 6 starts. And he has the 4th highest QBR rating in the SEC this season against ranked opponents. Give me whatever Cutter Boley wants to stay in Lexington. That's what I want.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, John. I'm trying to see if I have any other topics here, but I don't think I do. So we're going to jump to our good, bad, and the ugly. You ready for our good, bad, and the ugly?
Yep.
Week 9, college football. Let's start with our good, John. What was your good from week 9?
I'm gonna go Cutter Boley. Some of my good, I think I'm gonna go Cincinnati. Cincinnati's playing at a high level right now. There's a little bit more out there. I'm trying to think. Who else could there be? Vanderbilt would be another one. I felt like they played really well at the end of the game.
I thought Vanderbilt actually could have very easily lost that game. The Hail Mary, like, come on, that was so close.
Yeah. That's my good for the week.
I mean, I was in the stadium, and the feel in the stadium with what was going on and Kentucky getting down 28-7, first half, second quarter, for Cutter Boley and this team to stay together and do some of what they did, put 34 points on the board after that, and kind of stay with Tennessee after that. Because it was a rough start, especially the 14-0, 2 turnovers right off the bat. So I will give Cutter Boley his flowers here. I think he is one of the goods. Listen, Indiana is absolutely slaughtering people, okay? They are the first team since 2018 to beat two power conference teams by 50 or more points in the same season. The last team to do it was the 2018 Clemson Tigers, who, by the way, went 15-0 and won a national title. And Indiana has now done it twice. They beat the pants off of Illinois, and they beat UCLA, who had been playing a lot better. We had a conversation on this show on Friday night about how UCLA had played the part and looked a lot better, changing offensive coordinators and coaches and all that. And they whipped their tail 56-6. So I'm going to give it to Indiana, man. Like, Cignetti is just absolutely laying the wood to people. I mean, and all business. I mean, he's still, he don't smile. He ain't happy. Like, somebody needs to give him a plate of cookies or something on the sideline.
My bad. You want me to do the bad for the week?
Yep. Yeah, let's do our bad.
My bad for the week is, let's see here. Probably North Carolina again. Going for 2. I felt like that they should have won that game. There were some points in that game where they should have won. Trying to think. NC State was another one. They looked terrible against Pitt. Second half, I thought. I'm trying to think what other. I'm going to go UCLA for my bad. I thought that was after the way they played the last 3 weeks, and they come out and they just folded up the tent. Indiana might be good, but at the end of the day, that's just,
My bad. Okay, so if you guys have been following the show for a couple of 2 or 3 years, I've been talking about SMU. I've been talking about Rhett Lashley. They went and got beat and scored 12 points and got beat at Wake Forest 13-12 this past weekend. It's only their first loss in ACC play. They still have a chance. But, man, that was a bad-looking loss. Wake Forest has got a new coach down there first year. They are playing decent. They're a decent team, but that's not a game. SMU is supposed to have a really great offense, high-flying. That's what Rhett Lashley is and always has been. But they've struggled a little bit this year on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to give them a bad this past weekend for me. And I'm going to give it to South Florida. You literally gave up and let them score 17 points in the fourth quarter to beat you and had it wrapped up, man. I mean, you were in the catbird seat for the college football playoff. You finished that game off. And the only other game on your schedule that was even going to be competitive was Navy. That's it. Go look at their schedule. Their only other game was going to be Navy. They pretty much had a college football playoff position locked up and a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter and gave it up.
Yep.
All right, ugly. What was your ugly?
My ugly is probably Kansas. I felt like they did not look great against Kansas State. Another ugly would be LSU. They looked awful. And I'm going to give you another one, SMU. They're not playing great. I don't know what's going on down there with Rhett Lashley. It's a mess. Lost to Wake on the last second field goal.
Ugly.
So,
It was ugly. Listen, last week I gave Brad White his flowers. On this show this week, man, the spread offense gives him trouble. It's ugly. Like I was in the stadium. It was like they could drop the ball from anywhere and it was just going to land in the right pocket. But here's my deal. Are they not teaching Kentucky? Are they not teaching them to make a play on the ball? They just watch the ball go over the shoulder and just be caught like it's nothing. Like they don't even stick their hands up. It's like they're just watching, I don't know, planes go by or something. I'm not sure what the hell they're doing. It's ridiculous. That's ugly on a football field, to be quite honest with you. And you said bad. I'm going to give it to UCLA, man. Like, you've been playing better. Nico, I thought you had figured it out. I thought y'all had an offense now, and you go there and have 6 points. I think no touchdowns. I think it was 2 field goals. I mean, has Nico completely ruined his NFL draft stock?
Possibly. It just depends. I mean, he had 2 or 3 games where he looked great, but then I feel like he kind of dropped down again with the loss to Indiana. But everybody's looking bad against Indiana. That's a foregone conclusion. So,
I mean, y'all, we may be living in a world where Indiana makes the championship game in college football. I don't know where we're at. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what's going on in this world anymore. It's craziness. All right, man. We're going to wrap this up. This has been the College SportsCast, the Big Fuss Show. We always have a little bit of fun here talking about all the topics and hot debates and things on the show. But we're going to wrap this up, and we are going to call it a night. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I have anything going on Friday. I don't think I do. Are you good for Friday?
Yeah, I'm good for Friday.
All right. I believe we will be here on Friday night to do our game day pick'ems with you guys, and we appreciate you. So y'all have a good night, and we will see you on Friday. This has been College SportsCast, the Big Fuss Show.
Have a good one.